Perdón. Teacher, how are you today? I hope you are doing just fine. Uh, Now we are going to address the topic key teacher intervention. So just for you to know, we are Leonette Castro, right there, Tatiana, Mario, and myself, Juan. So, uh, thank you. Now that you have scrolled down, let's talk about being supportive. Being a supportive teacher can improve the relationship between students and teachers in both respect, in a respect way and in an empathy way. Understand what students are going through is fundamental. Therefore, a teacher should be able to read the, the body language that the students provide him. I'm sorry. Okay, it's really important to know what's the role of the teacher. The teacher's role is really important as well regarding choosing a career or or, or as well the teacher motivates and inspires students in several aspects because teachers most of the time are the source of knowledge and they are the most truthful person who has ever been around the students. In positive, okay, in a positive relation between teacher and students, it can be measured the improvement of the class. Positive teacher-student relationship in achieving students' academic excellence, social development, and emotion stability. Okay, now let's think about how to support students and the proper way to do it and the most accurate way to do it is to get to know your students. You need to understand them, you need to know their weaknesses and their strengths. Each student has this very unique timing to acquire new knowledge. So the role of the teacher is understand each every timing and not push a student. Otherwise, the student will feel overwhelmed and frustrated. So he won't learn at all and he will eventually uh, drop out of school. And that's something that a teacher should work on in order to avoid. Now, let's talk about encourage the students. A student's motivation can sometimes be affected for lack of encouragement. Indeed, having a safe environment where students are respected and feel important part of the class is a key in supporting students' participation in class. Okay, a really important part of being a supportive teacher is rethink grading for students who have extensive support needs. Traditional grading systems probably won't be the best way to show what they can do. Let's talk about, actually, we need to reconsider alternative grading approaches that more meaningfully capture the progress of the students. So we need to focus on actually on what the student is able to do. Indeed, we need to focus if the student is able to accomplish the the learning objective itself instead of just reach a grade. That would be all regarding being supportive.
Okay, perfect. And
Okay, yeah, and now we are going to talk about the instruction given. I think this is important for us as teachers. So this is advice for use in when we are going to do the instructions for one activity. The first one is use clear and precise language. This is more like use the common expressions, like the expressions that students use in all the classes. The second is the explain the purpose of the task. This is really important because the students need a purpose with every activity. The third one, make sure your students understand. This is important. Don't be afraid to ask the students like, hey, you understand the activity or the instructions. Make sure of that. Use an appropriate tone. This is important when we talk like in a specific way, no, not only with the students and with another people too. Use a proper tone is more easier to understand to other people. Yeah, describe the specifics or the details. It is important too. The details of the activity, the step by step. And the last one, provide examples. Provide examples like the situations, with real situations, obviously according to the activity or according to the instructions. So yeah.
Okay, talking about telling, there is a difference between telling and teaching. Telling is when you only give information that they need to do something without understanding of what they are doing or what are they doing and why. But on the other hand, teaching is when you help them understand for the first principles that they are going to do. How? What are they going to do? Why they are going to do? How their circumstance or how the place is helping them to do the activities and how they can change it. This is important because you are helping them to understand. Also, when you are telling them something, telling you can, okay, I mean, you can tell students the instructions, the different activities, but you have to teach. You have to use a different tone in which you can make appropriate the environment. Also, it is important to listen the student to make a listening role. To make eye contact and to focus on the speaker. Also, it is important to speak in turn, never to interrupt the student because it is important to respect and to listen what the student wants to communicate when you are telling something. Finally, in this part, you should have, when you are going to tell something, you should have like hand movements, sounds, eye movement, appearance, facial expressions, posture, body contact, and some ways of talking.
Thanks, Leah. Well, now talking about eliciting. Basically, eliciting is a technique in which the students enable to the teacher to get learners to provide some information rather than giving it to them. Also, this technique is used to ask the students to the purpose of the vocabulary and for some rules of the language. Basically, is that this refers that they contextualize the students and create a good environment to they can understand and communicate in a good way. And the third one is the brainstorm. That is at the beginning of the lesson that you create a context to contextualize the topic that you are providing of the students to because the students have the opportunity to create an environment to communicate in a correct way. Also, please leave the next slide. Also, the advantage that listening have is basically that the student have a good knowledge according to the language and the real world, because when you have the language in the real world, basically you can understand clarify some questions that the students so that the students have in during the lesson. Yeah. For this reason, the listening is a learning center because the students, well, the teacher, the students have an stimulate because when are communicating in the environment, they have the prior knowledge that are in the classroom. Yeah. Um,
No more?
I think that, yeah.
Okay, so thank you, teacher.